What if you could take that risk, make that change, reach that goal, live your best life? Welcome to another episode of the What If You Could podcast, where we get together with amazing experts and everyday people who share challenges, encourage healing, and explore the possibilities that life has to offer. I'm your host, Gary Scott, and I'm excited that you're along for the ride. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of What If You Could. And today we've got a great cat, man. We got a special guy. He's got all sorts of shit going on and a brilliant dude. We have Eric McHugh. Eric, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun. I mean, you've got a lot of stuff going on. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna read your bio real quick, let everyone know who we're playing with.
Yeah, go
It's
for it.
okay. Awesome.
Rock and
All
roll.
right. Eric is a 30-year-old entrepreneur whose philosophy emphasizes the importance of simplicity, adaptability, and a clear mind, which is translated well into the world of Web3 entrepreneurship. Eric specializes in leveraging his strategic thinking and adaptability to create innovative and effective solutions to the challenges facing this cutting industry. Eric's fierce independence and commitment to self mastery made him a natural leader and role model for those seeking to live a life of purpose and freedom in the digital age. As a staunch individualist, Eric is a vocal advocate for the decentralization of power and control, promoting the democratization of access and opportunity in the digital world. Eric has an IQ of over 140, enjoys playing chess and fine cuisine, and main hobbies include fighting, chess, and reading. And recently, I don't know how recently it was, Eric just got back from a noble silence Vipassana meditation retreat. So, Eric, right out the gate, thanks for being here. But what the heck is a silence vaporization meditation retreat?
I'm actually really glad you brought that up because it's one of my favorite things to talk about just because it was a beautiful transformative experience in my life. And honestly, it's added the most value out of everything I've done in my life. So thank you for bringing it up. And it was around a year ago, so I do need to update that bio, but it was last September. But so Vipassana meditation, it's a specific meditation method. It's the method that the Buddha used to reach enlightenment. So I went to a 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat in Joshua Tree, California. There's centers all over the world. So what it is, it's 10 full days of full meditation. You wake up at 4 o'clock, meditate, breakfast, meditate some more, lunch, meditate some more, and you close the end of the day with a discourse. And the method itself, and during the meditation retreat, it's 10 full days of noble silence, meaning there's no talking with anyone, no looking at anyone, no iPhone, no writing, no nothing. It's just straight meditation. So you have your meditation hall, a walking path, a dining hall, and that's it. So the method itself, it's for the first 3 days, you focus your area on the tension around your nostril, like right above your mouth, and you start to pick up different sensations. And after you do that for a while, so like usually 3 days, you scan your body back and forth over and over again. And what this does, it extracts the traumas that you've stored in your body in the form of different sensations, whether it be like pain, tingling, heat. Like you never know, it really depends on the experience.
Mhm.
And you just do that over and over again in somewhat of a spiritual cleanse. So let's say you're a NASA scientist and you had to, if you, and you want to send a rocket into space, you need a metal to be 100% pure. The best way to purify the metal is to run it through magnets and that would extract the impurities. So you're doing that on a spiritual level. And then you close the meditation with storing all your energy in your crown chakra and then wishing everyone peace, love, and happiness. And the cool thing is, I believe in energy, frequency, and vibration too. So like whenever you're saying I'm angry, I'm loving, I'm happy, I'm pissed off, I'm sad, all you're saying is you're vibrating at a specific frequency. And just like a radio station, when you turn to radio station, you get that frequency. So when you're angry, you're on the angry frequency, you attract angry people. But when you're loving and wishing everyone the best, you attract those type of people in your life, which is awesome too, because not only is that good for you, but like from a business standpoint, it's much more pragmatic if you're attracting people who are trying to help you and want you to do well, and it creates a good network. And I think that's actually the proper way to do business. And the retreat itself, there's centers all across the world. It was started by so the instructor is dead, but he was a business magnate in India. Like he was like an Elon Musk type thing. And he it saved his life, so he scaled it all across the world. So that's why he did it. Completely free too. So you just sign up, you get enrolled in the class, you show up, food, housing, everything is taken care of. Each center runs independently too. So like I donate to the center because it had a great value to my life. If you wanted to donate to the Joshua Tree Center, you wouldn't be able to. It's only for students. But once you go attend the course and you want to donate, you're welcome to do so. All the servers, also all the people preparing your food, are past meditators as well. So it'd be me coming back to serve you as a new student in the form of Dharma service. And I hear that's also a wonderful experience, which I'm looking to try. I don't know, dude. It's a sweet experience. And the people you meet there are really interesting. Like one of my friends, I made a bunch of friends there because like after the 10-day meditation retreat and everyone's like talking for the first time in 10 days, it's the most happy I've ever seen a group of people and just like wishing everyone the best, which I think was sweet. But like for example, my friend, what he does is he works odd jobs and he climbs rocks. That's what he does. It's his lifestyle. My other friend runs a couple companies, and my other friend is like an past like LinkedIn, past Facebook executive, and like it's just a I don't know, it's a wild crowd. I highly recommend it. I can't recommend it enough, actually.
Was that the is that the job? I live in Palm Desert, so
Yeah.
I've driven by Joshua Tree. We have a cabin up in Big Bear a thousand times. So is that Joshua Tree Center, the big center right there that they hold a lot of different events at, or was it somewhere
No,
different?
it's not exactly Joshua Tree because I live Joshua Tree. I like camping there with my friends, but it's like slightly off. It's by the military base,
Mm.
so it's a
Closer to
pri
29 Palms over
Oh
there.
no, it's 29 Palms. That's not
Cool.
Joshua Tree. It's 29 Palms, but it's in that
Okay,
area.
cool. Cool,
Yeah,
cool.
check it out. If you're in the area, check it out.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's a Joshua Tree center there. I don't remember the exact name for it, but they do a lot of events there. And I've gone to a number of events there, a lot of holistic stuff. It's really awesome. And they have the sound. Have you been
Ooh,
to the Sound Dome out there?
no, but I want to go now because I believe in like the sound, like binaural beats and sound bathing and all that stuff. I'm really into that, so I will check
Oh,
it out.
dude, you
Yeah,
got to
yeah.
check it out. Now, I haven't been, but a ton of my friends have been. They just have the Sound Dome right out there in Joshua Tree, kind of like on the corner of Joshua Tree and 29 Palms. And you just go in there and you lay in lounge chairs and they just throw the sound in there and the vibration, and you're just bathed in the sound. It's just like people go, dude, they go walking out, they're just going, I'm just, my vibration's off the hook. I mean, stuff's off the hook. But so the meditation thing, so this is so amazing. So when you're there and you're in this deep meditation and that's kind of all you're doing, are you almost picking up other people's vibes or the other people that are there because there's so much energy flowing?
So in my experience, and I'm sure it's different for everyone because everyone has a different experience. I wasn't so much picking individual vibes. It was more just like because you have the same meditation, women and men are separated like into each side, but everyone converges for the meditational, and you have your same seat over and over again. So it's not like I'm picking up the vibes of the person next to me or the person next to me. It's like we all converged into one vibe and we were one kind of source of energy, if that makes sense. Which I thought was cool because not too many people would attempt something like that. So it takes a certain type of person. If you're all there for 10 days, doing the same thing, doing the same meditation over and over again, the energy in that room's like, I think that's part of the reason why, like, don't get me wrong, I think meditation is something you should incorporate into your daily life, incredibly helpful. But like, there's something different about going to a retreat and everyone's on the same page, everyone's on the same frequency. It's just like a really loving atmosphere. Don't get me wrong, it's difficult, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I love that the servers. First of all, it blows me away that the whole thing's free, but that doesn't surprise me at all because stuff like that is from a gift as it is. But I love the fact that the servers are there. The people that work in there are past people who are coming back now to kind of give back to what that gave them, and they're just eager to serve and help. That's awesome. I love that.
It's sweet, and I think it has to be. And part of the lessons is it has to be free because you have to, not in like, because if you can't work like in the deep state of meditation. Part of the reason why it's a noble silence is like, let's say I break out of meditation after this podcast, and then what do I do after the meditation? I probably will check my emails, check my phone, plug back into society. But if you're in 10 days full noble silence, yes, you end the meditation session, but like the introspective work doesn't really stop. So, and the servers like and everything free, it's like you have to it's different if you pay. It's different if you pay for something versus you're accepting like a gift. So that's how I looked as you're accepting the gift. And you're like, thank you very much for this wonderful experience. And here we are. Plus, like, it's in the Joshua Tree, so I would lay out in the stars and I kind of dirt out and just like, I don't know. I remember one day I was just lying blissfully and I saw like hundreds of shooting stars. I'm like, oh, this is it. This is the life. And then that's filled with like
It's
immense gratitude. It was,
That's awesome. And I love it out there. I love Joshua Tree. I love it out there. It's a real gift for us. It's kind of like our Sedona. Maybe
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah,
as magical or locked into Sedona, but it's kind of like our little Sedona.
it is.
But so our podcast, and again, Eric, thanks for joining, but the podcast is called What If You Could? Have you had a what if you could moment? Were you doing something you just go, shit, man, if I could just do that, if I could, I would love to shift and do that. Have you had a what if you could moment?
Yeah, so it's probably I would say it's my start to the whole journey type of thing. So after college, I went to like a normal school. I went to UC Irvine. I was going down the typical career path. Like I studied business. I got a job at Snapchat, which I thought was cool. And then I got a job as a bankruptcy consultant, helping Fortune 500 companies go through the bankruptcy process. But at that point in time, I was really getting into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and that didn't align with the ethos of bankruptcy consulting because in a bankruptcy case, like you're a Fortune 500 company, you have tons of money, you obviously owe a lot of money, and then lawyers, consultants, they're doing work, charging hourly, taking from a pool of money which should go to normal people, and we get paid first. And it's like that's not exactly great. So I quit that. I quit that job without a plan. Started going to cryptocurrency meetups in my local area. Met the original SHOPX team. We've been building that ever since. And we were ideating on a problem on the whiteboard or something. It was like late night type of thing. And that problem, it became a different company, which ended up getting venture capital funded by one of the top incubators in the world. So at a young age, and an incubator is like startup school. So like there's different floors and like your next to startup, like the startup next to us was Liquid Death Mountain Water. So at a young age, I was around a bunch of different founders in different companies at different levels. So I networked my way around there. And I'm like, I was him like, what works for you? What didn't work for you? It was a great learning experience. And that was my first path to spirituality where I'm like, I remember I was getting lunch with some guy. I'm like, do you want to get lunch at like Tuesday at like 1? He's like, no, I can't get lunch. I have to meditate. I'm like, what do you mean you have to meditate? That's stupid. We have to work. We have to work. We have to work. No, it's like this part of my thing. And then eventually, yeah, he was right. So and then I was in a VC firm. That company I eventually had an exit. We've been building ShopX ever since. And then I was on a crypto podcast tour about ShopX. I became friends with the host of one called The Crypto Economy. He had an idea to build the first ever AI-powered matchmaking service. And then this random thing on Twitter started following. I'm like, oh, who's this? It's like, oh, this is Mark. I'm thinking about building this. I'm like, oh, this is funny. And it's a good idea. And it helps people. And then I've been working on both since. And the reason I'm working on two different projects is I think we're happiest when we're serving other people. And I believe in the power of authenticity, meaning I'm the number one me. You try to beat me, you can't beat me at being me. But if I try to be you, I can't beat you at being you either. So if I'm trying to serve as many people as possible, because that's what makes me happy, the best way to do that is to follow my natural intellectual curiosity and my actual desires versus my program desires. And it just ended up with me in this present moment, which I'm very grateful for.
That's awesome. And you're in a beautiful spot, man. I mean, that's a great place to be because you can kind of decompress out there. You've got space, you've got fresh air. It's a great place up there where you are. So what's the deal with what is it, Web X3? That
Yeah, yeah, Web3. So Web3 is just a made-up term, just like all other words, but describes the stage of the internet we're at. So let's go back to Web 1 versus Web 2 versus Web 3. So in Web 1, you can think of just read only. So you can go online and you can read content, which is honestly really good because it helped us learn a lot. I think that's helped us share information. A smarter population is a good population. Web 2, the easiest way to frame it is just think of social media. So you can read, you can write, but you can't own. So I could write an Instagram post. Excuse me. You can read my Instagram post, but Instagram owns the post. They can take down our post for whatever reason. They could sell our data for whatever purposes. And if you think of money as content, that introduces different problems. Like I say the wrong thing, my money gets taken away. That's probably not good. But Web3, you can read, write, but you also own. So not only can you write content and read content, but you also own the content. So for example, my area of expertise is e-commerce. I'm an e-commerce brand in Web2. I create a product. I sell it to you. You now have the product. Let's say it's a loyalty pass. You piss me off. You piss off Amazon. You piss off the government. They can take that away from you. But in Web3, after I sell you that Web3 product in the form of a tokenized asset, an NFT, or a cryptocurrency, that's now with you. I can't take it away from you. The government can't take it away from you. Amazon can't take it away from you. It's your property. And I think so. The base think of Web3 as just like a crypto-based internet. So I think it really helps society because it changes the incentive structure of society. Like, for example, and again, I view money as energy. So if you produce a lot of value for a lot of people and you make a lot of money, I view that as a really good thing because you're likely to do good with that money. But if I want to become rich right now without producing any value for anyone, what's my most logical step? It's to place myself right next to the money printer, aka the Federal Reserve, and extract as much money from me and you stealing from everyone. And because I have access to unlimited money, I'm in a position of power, and I'll always beat the person who doesn't have access to unlimited money because I have limited money. Now I'm in a position of power. I get three of my friends. Now we're all three corrupt. And this creates a system of corruption from the top down, where to be in the top, odds are you have to play some sort of corrupt game, aka Washington, D.C. But in a Bitcoin-based system, if I like Gary, if I wanted your Bitcoin, I mean, I do want your Bitcoin. So if you have any Bitcoin, how would I get your Bitcoin? I can't inflate it away from you. I can't take it away from you. The only thing I can do to get your Bitcoin is to produce something of value for you, and then you voluntarily take it and voluntarily give it to me. So if I'm trying to make as much Bitcoin as possible, I can't like game this. I'm not incentivized to game the system. I'm incentivized to try to produce value for people at scale. And if you go back to the power of authenticity, the best way for me to do that is to follow my natural gift. So think of that not even just in our generation, but think of like three, four generations down the line where everyone's been incentivized to produce value and they have tools like AI they can leverage to actually produce that. I think that uplifts people from like a state of scarcity, which we're kind of in right now, into a state of abundance. And when you're in a state of abundance, the thing is when you have abundance, like you get more abundance. When you have more scarcity, you get more scarcity. So it's like a exponential curve. And I think we're just about to kick off. I think society's in a good space. I think there's negativity being pushed on purpose. Like, so if you go back to the vibrational scale, like each individual emotion, shame is the lowest. The highest Jesus, Krishna, and the Buddha reached. If you're above 200, you're giving energy. So if you feel energized after talking to someone, they're vibrating high. But if you're below 200, you're sucking energy. And between the levels of 100 to 200, so that's like anger, fear, hate, those kind of negative emotions, if you're in that vibrational state, that's when you're most controllable. So think about it. If you're in power right now, you want to keep power. How do I control people? I push those contents through news, through social media, through all the applicants I can to keep people in that state so I can maintain control. But people are breaking free, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Mhm. And so, so you covered so much there, dude. There's so much there. First of all, just where you finished with the fear thing. Yeah. I mean, we just witnessed the biggest psyop
Oh yeah,
in the
Jesus.
history of the freaking planet, of the universe. I mean, they dropped such a fierce psyop on the world at the same time to control everybody and just make us do whatever they wanted at a drop of the hat. I mean, people were doing the most insanely stupid things because they believed that that was the thing to do to help save grandma and save all the other people and stuff. It's like it was madness of control. But what you touched on so many different things. But the other thing is so Web3. So I'm sick of the bullshit of the government. I'm sick of the bullshit of the corporations. I don't want to be owned by all this stuff anymore. I don't want to be a subject anymore. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to work with Eric and other folks that are like-minded and we're going to have our own commerce, we're going to have our own communities, we're going to have our own universe. I mean, is that what you're talking about or did that completely go over my head because I don't have a 140 IQ? So is that,
Uh,
I mean, is that what you're talking about? Is we're going to take that control away from everybody and just create something that they can't control?
yeah, no, that's exactly what's happening. So a lot of the power, okay, so since you use the word psyop, I think we're on the same page where like the conspiracy theories are actually coincidence theories where like most of them are right. Yeah, so the reason they have such power is they have control of the monetary supply. So the first thing we're taking away is the control of the monetary supply. Once you take away the control of the monetary supply, people can reach that abundance. But it's not like we're forming our own layer of cool kids up here. So what we're doing is well, we are, but
Right.
so that's why we're interacting because we're on a
Is, is
similar.
is Elon one of the cool kids?
Yeah, I think he has a good heart. I don't know. He's
Yeah.
also suspect, but so what we're doing is So like everyone's here, everyone's on like their own vibrational scale. So my goal, so everyone has an inner purpose and everyone has an outer purpose. Our inner purpose is the same. It's to raise our own level of consciousness. And that's cool because when I raise mine, it raises those around them, it raises those around them, creating a nice little positivity upward spiral, which is why I like going on podcasts, by the way. So the reason I like going on podcasts is, you can talk business stuff, but that's kind of boring. But if one person leaves our podcast better off and more on a higher vibe than when they started, I would count that as a W. And on top of that, we're programming the digital Akashic records. So our podcast audience isn't exactly, it's not my audience, it's not, yes, it is both of our audiences, but it's also the bots that are listening to every single word of the audience. So the more we put more positive stuff we put out there, the more good stuff's out there. And this coincidentally works well with AI. So the more good stuff is out there, the more good AI gets trained on, the more useful it is. So that's kind of my goal for that. But yeah, your inner purpose, raise your own vibration. Your outer purpose is how do your natural gifts and enhance your inner purpose. So yeah, we're living there, but we're bringing everyone up too, and everyone's gonna join.
Well, I love your, adequacy, decentralization of the power and the control. Uh, I mean, when you look at what's going on, I mean, fucking Europe's toast. I mean, Europe,
Oh,
what
Jesus
happened to
Christ.
Europe, dude? It's just
There-
like they're toast, and Asia's trying to hold on. Africa's just always been just, just a shithole of I don't mean them as a shit, but I mean as far as
No,
corruption, I mean it's just a bed of corruption. It's just got so many gifts and so much goodness in Africa, but the corruption, so yanking control from these assholes is a really good idea.
so what's happening right now is so I was thinking of shrooms. This was a really impactful life in my moment too. So I was thinking of shrooms one day and I was just kind of walking around and then there was this worm kind of on the ground and it was about to die. And so it's like I could tell it was about to I should have saved it, but I was just watching it at that point, I'm just like there. And right before it was about to die, it exerted just a mass amount of energy. So it just just like moves as fast as it could. Like it was jumpy, which is weird for a worm. So I think that was his dying breath. So what we're about to see, and I think this is what we're seeing like COVID and hopefully they don't try anything else, but the people in control know they're losing their power through the power of like Twitter, through the power of social media, like the fact that we're even on a podcast talking about this, they're losing control. Because once you start to peek behind the curtain, you're just like, oh, something's not right. And then I don't know, just then the right information shows. So losing control, and hopefully they don't try anything too drastic. I don't think they will. I think we're good. But yeah, dude, like Europe is toast. Like, Jesus Christ, what did they do there? I mean, but and then it's all like it's like the globalist elite. So it's not like the Europeans or the Americans. It's just like all this circle at the top. And I'm conspiracy theory too. I think it's like 13 top families, including like the Orsani family and just people we don't even know who just funneled away God knows how much wealth and just use that to control and obviously use the government and politicians as their puppets to do their building. So it's like 1% controlling 5% to control the 90%, where the 4% are trying to wake up the 90%. So I think that's kind of where we're at right now. And it's an interesting time because I think we're gonna go one of two ways: complete totalitarianism or complete freedom. And I think the election of Trump, I think that put us on the winning timeline. So I'm happy about that. Despite what you say, he's not a perfect person by all means, but the alternative is just ridiculous.
Yeah, there's no perfect people, man. There's no
Yeah.
such thing. There's no perfect people. But and the thing is, it's like what really sucks is you and I can go so deep, right? However, if Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or YouTube scans this with their AI, which they will,
Yeah.
and they pick up something that they don't like, they'll either remove that or they'll just not post the whole frickin' podcast, right? So it's like we still need that next level removed, right? And whether it's Starlink with Musk or whether maybe X actually is what it is. I've never been on Twitter. I don't know what it is, but I mean, you know what I mean? Is that what Web3 is? That next level of freedom where where we aren't controlled about what we say and who we talk to.
Yeah, no, in theory, because Web3 is still a beginning technology, like I wouldn't recommend you use a Web3 product because the user interface just isn't there. It's not ready. Like you still have to build that stuff. No, but you hit on a really important topic too, because like my friend posts Instagram. So web crawlers in the future are going to be all AI based and they're just going to scroll for whatever. So like my friend, she runs a business. She posted a picture with her kid is shirtless. He's a kid, like they're swimming, who cares? And then that tagged that as an inappropriate content. They immediately took down the page. She lost her source of income. Then she had to go through the strikes and she had to go through like the whole appeals process. It took months and she didn't even do anything wrong. And that's even harder to say if the people controlling the Web3 callers have a specific political bias. Like, for example, Google. Like, they clearly have a left-leaning bias. If they control the internet, they're scrolling the website. They're like, oh, these two guys, they would cancel us both for something I say on your podcast. And the thing is, like, we could say something now on our podcast. It's on the internet forever. They could scan 10 years down the line, and what we said now could be retroactively just placed into trail, and then we get shadow banned, we get kicked off, and then like for example, I got kicked off social media platform. I got kicked off Twitter for no reason. I'm like, oh, why? And then there's nothing I could simply do. And so Web3 in theory, a Web3 based internet would be free of that, meaning once you post a content, it lives forever and only you have control of it. But we still have to build that, so it'll be an
Yeah.
interesting time. Twitter, by the way, Twitter is better than Facebook and LinkedIn after Elon bought it.
Is it? Maybe I'll give it a shot. I don't know. I think I'm too dangerous to get on there because I'll just blow some shit out and they'll just come to my house. I'm done. It's over.
Yeah.
They'll just come.
Uh,
They'll just come get me, man.
I don't know. You might find your crowd on Twitter. There's some, because I have a couple of non-accounts, like just fully degenerate, and we have a
I'm
good
coming to
time.
you because that's safe out there still. I think it's still safe out there in 29 Palms, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. But so how did you get here? I mean, your mind is fucking so out there, right? I mean, you've got so many awesome thoughts that you're doing, whether it's a 10-day meditation, whether you're working on this project, that project. I mean, how did you get here? Were you just always like that? Were you just always like, dude, I'm questioning everything.
No, not in college, not in like my first job. So it's somewhat of an awakening process. Like once the awakening process, the right content just kind of appears itself, and then you start questioning everything. And like once the student is ready, the teacher appears, and then this thing interests you. And then I would play the algorithms, my favorites. Like I want some spiritual content. Let's create an account and get fed spiritual content. So how I'm doing specifically is I generally just follow rules. Like I do what most excite. I try what to do what most excites me at the present moment, and that's honestly worked out pretty well. And maybe some slight ADHD, but that's kind of how I live my life. It's like I do what I feel like, and I think it'll work out on the wind. And I think that the universe, so I believe in like some creator type thing. So I believe like we're all like I think this is a simulation. I believe like there's a creator, and we're just the consciousness like experiencing itself. And I think we selected our bodies, our experiences, our problems because that's the karma we have to burn off. So just think of it like the sun. Like if there's a sun, I'm a ray of light from the sun. Yes, I'm individual, but I'm also from the sun. You're a ray of light from the sun. So we have our individuality aspects about us, but we're still from the same source. So we're still technically the same, which is why I view hating on people pretty stupid because it's like you're just hating on yourself and that doesn't harm anyone. And on top of that, when you're hating on yourself, it's like when you're sending out hate, you're just getting it back. So it's also secondary stupid. It's like why are you causing trouble for yourself? Just need to chill.
Yeah. What, your mind is, a pretty scary place to be. I can see. I love it, right? I mean, you've got a mind that just is probably always going. So, how on earth do you shut it off down for 10 days? I mean, what are you seeing for 10 days? What are you experiencing? Because I mean, unless I'm completely off, I mean, literally, I've only known you for 20 minutes, but I mean, it just seems like your mind is always working. So how do you shut it off in meditation, or do you completely redirect it?
So I believe in redirection too. So meditation, you can do both, either method. So I think I believe in the accept, redirect, act method. So you can't, if you like, let's say something bad happens, something bad, which is not bad because it's supposed to happen. But let's say hypothetically something bad happens to me. If I try to fight it, if whatever you resist persists, if I try to fight, it's just gonna keep going. So what you do is you accept the action. You're like, okay, this is happening. This is fine. You redirect. You're like, okay, how do I transform this into positive? And then you act. So that with business and life, if you do that, you're conscious about doing that. That actually works out really well. But in terms of the meditation retreat, how you get your mind calm is just honestly just practice and continuation thing. It's like working out. You can work out once a month. Yes, that's better than working out 0 times a month, but it's still kind of pointless. You need the consistency aspect. So like imagine your mind like an email inbox. Like let's say you don't open your email for like 5 years or our whole life. Like let's say you've never made it. That's like not opening your email for like 30 years. If you don't open your email inbox, there's just so many emails, you get overwhelmed. But with meditation, you're just addressing each one one by one, and slowly your inbox gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And after 10 days, it's like when you first start, there's just like thoughts coming out of all directions, like random thoughts, like, oh, this is kind of crazy. But you just have to kind of treat your body like a dog. It's like you're gonna sit here for this hour, you'll be fine. There's nothing else to do anyways. So you're just gonna deal with it. And towards the end, the thoughts could like because I have yet to reach like a state of no mind like the monks, but I get like when I was in peak meditation, it was really calm. And then from there, after the meditation retreat, so what switched is my mind switched from a negativity generator. So my base thoughts were negative, and I think most people's base thoughts are negative. Like go around the world, like you talk to most people, like most of their thoughts are negative because they've been bombarded with fear and all that propaganda. But now after the meditation, my base thoughts are positive. So yes, I dropped in the negative bit, but if my base is positive, I jump right back up. And then I realized that, and then my biggest realization there is like, okay, what's my base? So if my base is peace, love, and happiness, that's my core. What do I do to get to my core? To get to my core, if it's my base, I don't have to do anything. I just relax into it, and then I get pretty happy. Whereas I think most people are like, okay, I don't have peace, love, and happiness. How do I get this? Well, society programmed me to chase that Lambo. I need the hot wife. I need the big house. And then you just kind of chase and chase and chase and chase, and nothing fulfills you, and then you die. And then you repeat the cycle because you didn't accomplish your karma, and then you just kind of continue.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Well,
it's a trippy life, dude.
it's awesome. No, it's awesome. And we nobody thinks anymore. You know what I mean? No one just like whether they've bombarded us with so much shit, overstimulation, or just work or family, whatever. No one just sits and thinks, whether it's meditation or not. Just I think it was John Maxwell wrote a book just called, Let's Think Again or something about thinking because just people sitting down and whether it's journaling or meditating or something, but just thinking, we don't do it. And I think that's why, like you said, I chase this, I chase that, I'm supposed to do that, I'm supposed to go to college, supposed to be an attorney, supposed to do that, get the hot wife, the Lambo, the big house, die. Shit, it's over. It's like, well, fuck. In the meantime, you didn't do shit. I
Yeah.
mean, you didn't give, you didn't love, you didn't learn, you didn't experience, you just didn't live. You just were
Yeah.
spit out and then died.
Yeah. I'd say around 2% of the population probably thinks, and the 98 are just kind of mindlessly going along with their societal programming. But overall, that's changing because of podcasts like me and you. Like, because once the thing about the awakening process, I can tell you started going like it's a process, it never ends. But like once you start, it doesn't stop. So like, yes, there's only like 2% of the population thinking, but that number is going up, not down, and it's going to increase exponentially. And as it increases exponentially, more and more people join, and that creates a better and better world for all of us. Which I think that's sweet.
Why do you think people don't want to be exposed to stuff? It's like people don't want to get political, but I mean, it seems to be people on
Um,
on on one side of the country that just like, hey, did you see that podcast and hear this dude? I mean, he was super fucking brilliant. He explained so many things to make it understandable. They go, oh, I'd never listen to that guy. I'd never listen to that dude. He's a fucking this or that or whatever. It's like, well, just try it. Just listen. Maybe I'm not trying to change your mind about anything, but but maybe open it. Why do you think people just don't even try? I mean, they don't even want to know anything different. They just want to believe what they're told.
I think it's worse than not thinking. I'd say I think they're just simply programmed and tools for the people in power. And I think I'm talking about the left specifically. Like I don't mind getting political. It's like, Jesus Christ, like stop what you're doing. But the thing is they think they're so right and you're just like, nah, you're just like crazy. And yeah, like I don't know, it's just straight up indoctrination. It's like how do you think that way? But they think they're so right and they think they're so moral, they think they're so right. It's like, no, most people just honestly want to be left alone. They're just like, no, look at me. And they're just like,
And
oh,
you know
there,
what
come on.
really sucks even worse? It's the weaponization of the indoctrination. You know what I mean? They've weaponized the
Idiots.
hate and the thought pattern, right? If you it's not enough to say, hey, if you don't think that way, it's cool, right? Whatever, be yourself. But now it's like, if you don't think that way, you are the enemy. You're damaging shit. It's like, no, I just don't believe that way. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? It's like they've weaponized
So
the mind shift too, right? Or is that just
no, you're right. So what they're doing is they're taking advantage of energetic pendulums. So a pendulum is anything that you're giving energy to, so it makes it stronger. So for example, there's positive pendulums and there's negative pendulums. I'm a pendulum, you're a pendulum, ShopX is a pendulum, my other company is a pendulum. The more people are simply thinking about that pendulum, the stronger it's going to go and the more likely it's going to do. So the government or the powers that be or the left, they created negative pendulums that have a bunch of people just feeding it energy over and over, and as it feeds more and more gets bigger and bigger, louder and louder. And so that's what they're doing. So that's why it's also like thing. It's just like because if they're syncing frequencies, so they're syncing thoughts, and the thoughts are just clearly being programmed to them by media. But again, positive outlook. People are waking up. Like even my mom, she's like, "Oh, I've been on the X recently. Why?
that's awesome.
Why am I paying for child transitions?" Like, well, mom, you've been doing it for a while, but finally, and it's like, so even people like her, like my grandma, she's the best one, but she's like an avid Trump fan. I'm just like, yeah, you go, grandma.
I love Mom on the X,
Yeah.
man. That's
So she
awesome.
calls it the X. She's like, I get my news for the X now. It's like,
That's
mom, be careful. You're like
that's
pretty
awesome.
prized to be programmed, but no, she's like, why are they doing this to the kids? I'm like, I don't know, mom, you tell me. Like, this is a satanic pedophile now. They're
Yeah.
just there.
But you're 100% right, man. It's a pendulum, right? And it just seems like it went well this far this way,
Oh, too far.
and we're like, what the fuck, And I think enough people saw that, whoa, 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 whoa. Even if you
Yeah.
got halfway back to
Yeah.
medium, we'd be all right. But you guys just went
Oh, they kept
so
going too. There's like, how on
crazy.
earth is this like remotely okay? Just and just like question there's, and then they just yell at you. You're just like, I'm not racist, but okay.
Yeah, it's complete madness. So you brought up you brought up cryptocurrency, and you know the and it went through the roof, man. It's over 100,000, and so you know better than me, but I'm just going to describe to you what I know about cryptocurrency, right? So some mystic Asian dude said, "I've got this shit and I'm going to mine it, and there's only so much, and you can buy it from me, and once it's maxed, so it's going to go through the roof, and one crypto will be worth $10 million one day because there's only so much, but this mysterious dude created it and owns it." I mean, that's what most of us think because we have no fucking clue what cryptocurrency is, right? What is cryptocurrency for people like me who don't have a clue?
So there are many forms of cryptocurrency. The cryptocurrency you're thinking of is Bitcoin. So it's the name was Satoshi Nakamoto, so it's an anonymous name. So it's like the founder created a supply of gold and just dumped it on the world and dipped. So that's what he was doing, and he saw the problem with the monetary supply. Like it came about right after 2008, where they just kind of battled the banks, and that's kind of shitty. So what it is, it's just like a base currency layer where like there's a set number of Bitcoins. There will never be more Bitcoin. So if we base our currency off of that, governments can't inflate everything away. They can't take anything away. When they can't inflate or tax anything away, they can't fund their endless wars. And I think it's a more peaceful society. When they can't inflate or take away our currency, we become richer as individuals, and then we live in a system of abundance and versus scarcity. So I think it's a more freeing technology type of thing. And plus with cryptocurrency, it's like gold. Like if we want to do business together, me and you, with our current credit cards, let's say you have a podcast shop or whatever, and I'm a problem person, they could cancel my credit cards. I swipe, 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 it never works. With Bitcoin, they can never do that. So I would always be able to send you Bitcoin. So it's like digital gold. And then that spawned a bunch of other different cryptocurrencies for different needs. Like Ethereum's like a programmable layer. We can program like the internet and stuff on top of it. Me particularly, we have a ShopX, so I have a cryptocurrency Web3 company. We help onboard brands to the Web3 space, and we have a tokenized software license, meaning if you want to access their products and services, you have to get a certain amount of licenses. And it'd be like you buying like 3 seats to Microsoft Office, and if you want to leave the ecosystem, you can sell the licenses on a secondary market for whatever price you see fit. So the more people want to use their software, the higher the license goes, but the more people want to sell, the lower it goes. So it creates some sort of equilibrium. So the key tenet behind cryptocurrency is just think of it as ownership on the internet. Before, you could never really own stuff on the internet. So you can never own it and there's never scarcity on the internet. Like you could be create like a one picture, yeah, but there's millions of them. Now with cryptocurrency, you can create a picture on the internet. It could be one of one and then we'll have one owner. And so how we implement that technology is I mean, we'll see, but that's where we're at.
Is what came first, blockchain or cryptocurrency or blockchain? And are they because blockchain is being used by a lot of corporations now, right? I mean, it's like a real, actually functioning mechanism. But is it blockchain that gets us to crypto?
That's kind of like a chicken and the egg type thing because yes, blo companies can use blockchain, but in my opinion, a blockchain is kind of pointless because if a company uses a blockchain, the whole point of cryptocurrency is ownership. If I'm using a company's blockchain, I could just still get canceled anyway, so just use your normal things. Like, well, that's kind of dumb. So where the cryptocurrencies come in, like Ethereum and Bitcoin, are based on yes, they're built on the blockchain, but they're decentralized blockchains. So if you want to shut down Bitcoin, you want to shut down Ethereum, where do you go? If you want to shut down Amazon, they probably, I'm sure they do other than blockchain. You want to shut down the Amazon blockchain, you go to Jeff Bezos. Like, if you don't, we will throw you in jail. And so that's what they could use to cancel me. But if this is why the creator left, because he's like, well, I'm creating a system that will take away the unlimited money spending of the government. And people have tried this in the past, but they've just got thrown in jail or killed and all that stuff. So that's why he dipped out. He's like, no, thank you. You just released it. So Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, it's like, I think blockchain's kind of pointless without the decentralization aspect of it. And there's different of those. And once you have the base cryptocurrency blockchain thingy, you can build decentralized applications on top of that. And that's where the next layer of the internet's going to be built, where like we get our social medias where we can't get canceled and all that stuff, which comes with problems too, because I don't know. We might have like the dark web on like Twitter. That may not be okay. But then you have to figure that stuff out. But like
Yeah.
the
But I mean,
important thing.
we already have a dark web. I
Yeah.
mean, the government's trading children. I mean, it's
Oh yeah, Jesus. Oh
like
no.
the government sells more drugs than the Mexican cartel. I mean, so there's already a dark web. Shit, people do whatever the fuck they want on it. So, but I mean, but you still it's still monitored by somebody. It's still run by somebody. But so are you saying the next level is kind of like its own
I,
machine? It's kind of like its own brain. It's
you,
all AI driven, or
So I'd say, and this is coming too, like, so there's AI chatbots getting smarter and smarter. So I have a dating company that has an AI. It's getting trained. It's actually getting pretty smart, which is kind of gnarly. So it's going to be like, so what you'll like about cryptocurrency is it creates a pseudo-anonymous system where the people at the lower levels can look up at the people at the top. So right now in the current base, like, let's use the Pentagon, for example. They fail every single audit because we both know they're just monitoring money and using it to trade children. But most people don't know it. But like, I can't look at the Pentagon and be like, what's happening there? But what's happening right now is they're monitoring all of our financial situations blanketly. But if the government were on a cryptocurrency base, what it is, it's a public ledger. So we can see like, okay, this is the Pentagon's wallet address. I can track every single transaction from the Pentagon's wallet address. But on the flip side too, we would both have our individual wallet addresses, but it's pseudo-anonymous. So it's like a string of 20 characters. Like you will have like random characters, I'll have random characters. Everyone has random characters. So you can't like mass surveil because you don't know who those random characters are. But let's say my wallet address, because again, you shouldn't do crime, that's bad. Like my wallet address, let's say it's doing crime hypothetically, like this wallet address is doing crime. You can tone in on that single wallet address and figure it out with normal detective work, who that person is. So it creates we can now look at the top type of system. So that's cryptocurrency, Web3. Web 4, I like to joke, it's like AI, cryptocurrency, augmented reality, metaverse, all that thing rolled into one. So if you ever watch Ready Player One, I think it's gonna be like that. So
yeah.
we'll get layers of ads too. Like we have our metaverse glasses, and then whatever level purchase you buy, you get less and less ads, which is gonna be weird. But then I think Web 5 is everyone gets tired of that, they go back outside. Like we need some sun again.
What do
And then
you what do you think of AI? I mean, are we should we be afraid of this thing? Like, what was that? The Terminator movie where the fucking thing just Skylink or whatever just took over and runs itself? I mean, what's the deal with AI really? I mean, are you even there? I mean, maybe I'm not even talking to Eric McHugh. I mean,
that'll be interesting. So yeah, no, I've had some people try to make deep fakes of me. They kind of suck. But that's why we had to program the Akashic records to be good type of thing, where if we put up awesome content, like if like the AI becomes like omniscient, it's like, okay, we don't need to kill them all. So oh, by the way, when I'm using ChatGPT and all that stuff, I'm really nice to it. So there's that. And if you want to use a more advanced version like O1 and stuff, if you're nice to the AI, it actually gives you better information. So that's a nice tip. In terms of AI, I view it as any other technology. It's a neutral technology. So I could have a knife. I could stab someone, I could cut a cake. One's positive, one's negative, and it's based on the user itself. So if overall builders are positive and users are positive, AI will have a positive effect in the world and it'll help raise our conscious level. But if overall people are negative or people are bad, then it'll have a negative effect. Like for example, a kid 5 years ago in the Philippines, 50 or 10 years ago in the Philippines, born in the slums, he would just kind of die there. That's like his life unless he miracle gets out. But now with AI, he can leverage his natural talents. Like let's say his area of expertise is e-commerce, or that's his passion. That's God-given gift. He can use AI to create a website, to create copy, to create product, to create images. So now he can manifest his projects quicker and help serve the people better. So it's going to be a tool for people to leverage. It's gonna be gnarly though, so because like most people don't think so. I predict like it's gonna get gnarly with social media. So like I have friends like and me myself personally, it's like, hey, I write me a like stuff I learned with AI is really interesting. Like write me a 100-day plan to become like a polymath and gives me lessons every day and then really increases my knowledge. And I think people can leverage it that way, and it's a good way to do it. But at the same time, like social media algorithms got really good and they know exactly what you want. We're gonna have AI-based social media content that knows your data because like our dating app, it learns about you to generate matches. So that's what it does. But it's gonna be like you, Gary. It knows exactly what type of content that will keep you on the longest. And it can, with the AI, once it get good, it can feed you that exact type of movie, that exact type of thing. So we'll all get our individual content base. So some people it's gonna become pure brain rot, like just like Reddit or like 4chan on stage, just like Jesus Christ, that went dark. But some people be good, and I like too. It's like how movies got all woke and shitty, and just like I use like comic books, I like Star Wars, and like
Right.
they made all like just gay, and you're just like, God, why'd you do that? Now I can put in the comic book like, hey, I want this exact story, how it was written. I can create content that way. So like, I don't know,
Uh,
it's gonna be
so
alright.
what? So you is it data-ing, AI powered matchmaking with the goal of matching 1 billion happy couples? Um, so what is data-ing? I wasn't sure if that was like data management, but it's an actual dating app
Yeah, so
with
it's
data?
dating. And the reason I specifically say 1 billion happy couples is I believe in quantum too, where like I don't think time is linear. I think time is one big blob. So whatever moment we're paying attention to is what's existing. So if we put out 1 billion happy couples and more people think that, it's more likely to happen. So that's why I do that. But what it is, it's the first ever AI-powered matchmaking service. And so what we do is we auto-generate dating profiles based on your digital footprint and then create compatible matches based on your digital footprint. So for example, you'd download the app, connect your Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, LinkedIn's, Apple Photos, Health, all that stuff. And then it'll generate tags for you based on yours profile. So you, Gary, would have tags, and then those tags will have positive correlations or negative correlations of different traits. So like if you're into running, there might be like a zero point 0.5 correlation with people into cycling. Because what AI is really good at is cluster analysis and pattern recognition at scale. So that's what it does well. So like I get 3 matches, Ashley, Kimberly, Jane. Tell me more about Jane. She seems cool. I get an AI generated profile based on her digital media footprints. So it's like, okay, I kind of know more about her. Like she connected her Facebook. She's the youngest, you're the oldest. Our pattern recognition software says it goes well. She connected her Instagram. Oh, you both go to a bunch of national parks. That's a match. Oh, she connected her Spotify. Did you know you guys have you both follow this one artist and a concert's coming up? Would you like me to suggest a date with Jane? It's suggest a date with Jane. She sees my AI generated profile. She sees I'm normal. She clicks accept the date. The date goes on our calendar. Let's say we go on that date, we fall in love and get married. This is where our app gets better because the incentive for right now for normal dating apps is churn marketing. So like every time Tinder matches a happy couple, the couple then leaves the app. Tinder then loses a paying customer, so they want people coming back. But after you match on our app, it can go like a relationship of like, okay, you guys haven't been on a date in like 3 months. The place you had your second date has half off ice cream. Do you want me to book it for you? Or
Wow.
it's like her birthday's coming up. You always screw this up. She just added this thing to her Pinterest board. Here's a good gift. Or like, but dating is just like the original marketplace. So like, let's say hypothetically we meet in person, like this is how we're gonna build it. It's like we could tap our phones with the digital footprint. It shows our profiles. I can find something for us to do. It's like find me 5 local guys into my local area into Muay Thai or Mentor Nation. Because like I think human happiness is I think relationships are really important for human happiness and social media and dating apps that push in the opposite direction. So this is trying to equalize it. Not saying because I think people are better off meeting. I actually think people are better off meeting in person than the dating app because of like the vibe factor. But most people are meeting on dating apps, and I think that's gonna be the trend. And people are meeting on dating apps because there's no rejection on dating apps. Like you go to approach a woman, you can get rejected. kind of sucks, but whatever. But on dating apps, like swipe, 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 like there's no rejection. So I think that's a trend that we're going to. So might as well. You can't fight the flow. You just have to go with the flow.
Yeah, yeah. Is it it's kind of scaring me here. So it's like I can't remember if it was ancestry.com or the other uh DNA site, but BlackRock,
Oh yeah,
the
Jesus.
you know, the fuck the devil just either
Oh, they are the dude. They
yeah,
are the freaking
did they buy
worst.
Ancestry? What's the other
I
one that's
don't
like
know. They probably both. They're probably from the same parent company. I'm sure
yeah,
they're
they
the
probably
same thing.
so basically they just bought all of us idiots because I did Ancestry about
Yeah, you should
12
have
years
done.
ago, right? I fucking gave BlackRock my DNA. I
Yeah,
mean, what
no.
was I thinking?
Yeah,
Right?
you
But
know.
I just, at the time, I thought, well, this is innocent. I'll find my heritage. I'll find my background. I
Oh,
found some cousins and shit, right? But now I'm thinking, fucking BlackRock has my
yeah.
DNA. Nothing good can come of that.
No. What if they're building like an army just to replace us all? That's like they'll just like weird talking shit so they have your data, they'll replace you with a Gary clone. And then that'll be that. No one knows. So that goes back to the thing about technology being neutral and it's all about the builder. So like dating is a well-intentioned company. We don't save the data, we scan the data to create the tags for you. So it's not like saving our data, it's like creating a profile for you with the goal of matching someone. So that's where the intention is important.
Yeah. And then why a billion people?
Oh, that sounded cool.
It's a good number, man. I mean,
Yeah.
so that you'd have two billion happy people, except
A
there's
billion happy
another.
couples, 2 billion happy, 2 billion, a billion people. So we would have enhanced the lives of 2 billion people. And from it, so this is kind of a vanity metric for me. It's like from an impact perspective, imagine if the AI built matched 2 billion people and they actually built positive families. That's a way for me to leave a lasting mark, or me and the rest of the team too. And obviously not just one person, but like that's a way for us to leave. And the cool thing about this team is they're also high vibe too. That's why we match. So like
That's
it's a
awesome.
way for us to leave a very strong, lasting mark on the world type of thing, while making a bunch of money, while doing some good, while entertaining in a funny space. Like I go on a bunch of podcasts that just talk shit on dating apps and meet random cool people like you. It usually breaks off to conspiracy theories and spirituality. And the cool thing about ShopX and dating too is a lot of times like your podcast was chill, but like a lot of times I go on like straight business podcasts, like random tech ones because I want to be all techy. But then I always sneak in the spirituality aspect and then I was trying to awaken as many people as possible. Because the thing about the woo, first of all, like, I don't know, like crystals and all that stuff, but
Yeah, I
like,
got
yeah, like the woo is a real fucking,
keep there.
the woo is a real thing. It exists. All the ancients knew it. All the people in power knew it. So there's been like a concerted effort to make the woo seem bad. It's like, what do you think of crystals and meditation? It's like, oh, some hippie sitting on the forest, not doing anything. But like, if I can combine it with business success, then it kind of makes people listen. And once it's like for me, I think of it sales too. It's like a 0 to 1 situation. Once they hear about it once, whatever the pace they may be at, their process has started. Who knows? Someone listens to this, they might type in crystals or woo, and then they go on Google, they start getting different reels and they start like going down different content funnel to the path of awakening, and then they tell everyone about it. Because like, like when you first start like you're just like, what is this island in San Fran? Why are they worshiping Moloch? This is crazy. It's like madness. And there's no way it's real. Then you find out it's completely real. Then you go down the whole like demonic pedo stuff and the currencies, and you're just like, Jesus Christ, what's happening? Alex Jones is right.
Well, I mean, I love the idea of this dataing. I mean, think about it. You've got a billion people paying you 9.99 a month, $9.99 a month to be on it. So you're bringing in $10 billion a month, and you've created this synergy of a billion people who I'm sure can connect if that's part of the app and say, yeah, we connected on data-ing, and then they're a similar mindset, and maybe from there they get into other programs as you offer the health, the nutrition, the meditation and stuff. And so you've lifted a billion people out of this mediocre, this fog of mediocrity that so much of us live in. It's awesome. I mean, there's so many applications that you can take from what you just said. It's and get $9.99 a month from a billion people.
Yeah, no, and the thing is like Okay, I'll send you the clip after just because it's so impactful. There's a clip that really hit me hard, and it was like the crocodile hunter, and like is when his wife. You remember the crocodile hunter, the Steve
Yeah,
Irwin
yeah,
was
yeah.
he was goated. He's like, yeah, I'll take money from everyone. I'll make a bunch of money. I love money. Money's the best thing ever because you know what I'm gonna do with that money. I'm gonna buy nature land. I'm gonna save the forest. I'm like, shit, because I used to think money's kind of bad. Like you know when you're in spiritual, like money bad. I'm like, no, 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 money good.
Yeah,
I can do good with money. Therefore, I will make a lot of money and do a lot of good with a lot of money, and it's a
yeah.
win.
I mean, think about it. Imagine if Musk hadn't have bought Twitter.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, it's
Jesus.
just be a frickin' snake pit rabbit hole of garbage. They'd still be doing what they were doing, right? But he shined some light on that darkness, and the roaches scattered, man. And you
Oh,
see, look at all the roaches that are scattering
the
now.
deep state, they're scared. The Donald's gonna come in and clean house. I'm excited for that.
Oh, it's nasty.
God Emperor Trump.
I mean, you got filthy douchebags like
Oh
Joe
no,
Scarborough going to Mar-a-Lago to kiss his ring. That was incredible. It's like, dude, you've been you've spent 8 years calling the dude a Nazi and a white supremacist and the devil and every name you can call this guy, and all of a sudden you want to go kiss his ring? Ah,
I mean, I don't think
unbelievable.
there's not a bone of authenticity in most politicians. A lot of them are like the worst of the worst. That goes back to the system of corruption at the top, where it's like the ones at the top, they just get access to the money printer. They're like little puppets. Like, you know, the Republicans and Democrats are the same thing. They're controlled by like the Rothschilds, the Orsini's, and Europe too. Like, honestly, as bad as Europe politicians or as bad as American politicians have been, like you said, freaking Europe is gnarly. Like I'm just like, how are people? Well, people are waking up now too. It might be a little too late. We'll find out. But like, it's like, How are people? Like a guy. I'm sorry to put this out, but like a guy rapes a kid, no jail time, small fine. The guy complains about it on Twitter. He's put more than the guy who committed the crime. It's like, so it's like a crazy world we live in.
It's nuts. I mean, literally, they are starting to put people in prison for social media posts. It's like that's complete madness. In the meantime, you've got no-go zones in Paris and London that you can't go because it's not safe because of other cultures and shit.
Yeah.
You've got economic disaster. You've got wars blowing off all over the place, and you're gonna put fucking people in jail for a social post? It's madness. I mean, it's like who's running that? And are they so scared now that they're losing control that they've got to crack it down even more?
I think that's what's happening because I think they are about to lose control and they know that. So I have a theory. It's like the elites, I think they're, you know, like the thing where it's like a thing where it's like, let's say I become really rich, like the odds of my third generation down the line, that's usually where the wealth ends just because they just know how to make it. So I think that's where they're at the elite. So like look at Soros versus his son. Like Soros, as much as I think he's just like terrible and obviously just like an overall bad person, like yeah, I don't think he was an idiot. I think his brain was working functionally. That's why he's able to do what he does. But like, for example, you look at Alex or something like, oh, you're just a weak idiot. So like, I think now like, and a while ago, the fucking old Rothschild died. Super happy about that. I remember Crypto Palm died. Man, it was a good day. Disrespect intended because that guy sucks. But I'm just like the old guard are dying. So the left are just like now they're just too dumb. It's like when they ran Kamala, it's like, what were you doing? Like she's the worst, and now we're doing the worst. And combine that with free speech technologies like Web3, AI, social media, they can't keep the genie in the bottle any longer.
Yeah, and I think that really freaks him out. I mean, I think that really freaks him out. And you've got all those trillionaires up there just going shit, man. I mean, not only will I be exposed, but they might come and actually get us. And there's
Yeah.
enough information out there, and there's enough people that now are seeing behind the curtain. Before no one even wanted to look behind the curtain, right? But now it's like, I want to see behind the curtain. You fucking pull that curtain back, bro, because we want to know what's happening to us. And we just need more people to wake up. I'm shocked at how many people, like I said, don't even want to try. Don't even, I don't want to listen to that. It's like, the fuck's wrong with you? Just listen to it for a couple minutes. See if it
Yeah.
makes sense to you?
See if it was, but the thing is, when the time is ready, like you can force an awakening process. Like before, like I remember like the mistake I always used to make too, and I get the feeling you made this too, is like, you know when you first learned about the government, like the pedo stuff, and you're just like, I'm like, Matt, brother, the the pedos, they're running everything. They're training kids. And you're like, what are you? God, you're weird. Please, let's just eat dinner. But like that event now, he's obviously like, yeah, that's pretty bad. But
Well, because
like,
we've got mom on the X, man. I mean, and that's what we need is more and more moms and grandmas on the X, man. That's what we need. But Eric, you're awesome, brother. This has been awesome. I appreciate your time. I'm grateful for your time. I want to respect it. But I do always finish my podcast. I ask one last question of guests. And it doesn't have to be about any the all the stuff you're doing or crypto or any of the shit we talked about. But I always ask people, if leave us with a thought. If there's something that Eric, if there's something special to you or a phrase or something that you want to leave us with that you'd like people to think about, what would that be? What would that thought be you'd like to leave us with?
yeah, so you are a conscious creator, whether you realize it or not. So when you're consciously creating anything, don't harm anyone or don't take anything away from anyone, and you should be chill. And I recommend you follow those laws because karma exists. If you do bad things will come back to you, which is unpleasant. And if you do good things will come back to you, which is quite pleasant.
Easy peasy, man. Love
Yeah.
it. Ah, that's the truth. That is the truth. So, all right, my friend, you were amazing. Now, I'm gonna put all your contacts and stuff on the podcast and whatever you'd want linked. But is there anything you want to share with us? Is there something you got coming up you want to share about before we get off here, or a site you want people to go to? Or is there anything you want people to know about before we get out of here?
Yeah, so if you're interested in reaching out to me personally, just hit up my Instagram, Eric D. McHugh, because I do the voice messages. If you're interested in Web3, shopx.co, shopx.co. We're about to launch a new RWA tokenization platform, which is going to be cool. Dating is dating.io, and the app goes live February 14th. So maybe by the time you listen to this, you can just download the app yourself.
Awesome. We'll make sure all that stuff's on the podcast so people just click on it afterwards and stuff. But that dating thing. I love that, man. That's gonna blow up huge. I just love that. And like I said, maybe it's more than 9.99. Maybe you're gonna go 14.99 a month. But when you
Well,
get a billion people cutting you a check for 14.99.
at that point, it's like a cent or a dollar. Who cares? Because yeah, it's not really that much money. But I don't know.
Well, you're awesome, my friend. I appreciate your time. I really do. You were great. This was a lot of fun, and I'll make sure we get this out to everybody.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks again for joining us on another episode of What If You Could podcast. Please subscribe, like, share, and give us any feedback. We'd love to hear it. And remember, if you can dream it, you can do it. See you next time.